Hi, Robin.
Hi, Andrew.
I just made you the co-host, so you should be able to do anything that you need to do Zoom wise. Were you planning to set up breakout rooms at some point?
Yes.
Okay, I can go ahead and do that. Just let me know how many in each room and for how long, stuff like that. And I want to make sure that you can stay focused on the not technology stuff as much as
Oh,
possible.
well, that's nice. Thank you. I realize my Zoom teaching skills have gotten a little rusty in the couple years I've been back face to face. So I was a little worried about that. But yeah, I think we should be fine. I have a shared document that I set up for 10 rooms, thinking there'd be about 40 people. So we'll see if they're smaller than I want about 4 people in a group at least. So I
Okay,
have the document prepared for up to 10 groups, but if we have fewer people, then we can make smaller numbers of groups. So
got it. Got it. Yeah, it's pretty easy for me to adjust to make sure that you've got the right number in each room. So
well, great. Thank you so much. And thank you to you and the team for organizing these days for everyone, especially during a time. I'm so impressed by how many people are here and participating during a time that's kind of the end of everyone's summertime off. So
yeah, definitely. No, thank you. We love having we like offering as many workshops as possible. So it's always great when people step up and offer to help facilitate those.
you think you have the waiting room like enabled? Did you want that or?
Yeah, I totally forgot to get rid of that. I just also want to just screen people just in case worst comes to worst. But yeah, sorry. I know it's dinging for you, and that might not be the I don't know, it might be a little bit distracting or something, but
No, that's okay. I just didn't know if I was supposed to admit people when they
oh no,
came in.
no,
I'll
no.
let you do it. Good afternoon, everyone. It's 12:41 by my clock, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I hope you all had a nice lunch break, and I've definitely been enjoying our content this morning. I really appreciate you joining me for this session. I'm Robin Perry from Fresno Pacific, and today I'm going to be talking about the collaboration that we do in our program with our school district partners in order to cultivate clinical practice experiences with the purpose of really getting our teacher candidates to engage in some critical consciousness development and also to encourage advocacy, help them become advocates for their students in the classrooms where they teach. So as a welcome, I just was asked to remind you that our session is being recorded in Zoom. And I know we get that notification when we log on too, but we will have the session recording available. And we do want the session to be very interactive. So please feel free to post in the chat at any time if you have questions or if there's points of clarification. During the session, I will be putting us into some breakout rooms to reflect on things you've heard and to expand those things and to think about ways that you might be able to integrate some of the topics I'm going to talk about into your own practice. But before we get started with the content of the session, I did want to just kind of get a sense of who all is here with us in the room. So I have a little bit of an introduction form for everyone to complete. There's the QR code on the screen if you want to take a snap of it and complete the form on your phone, or I'm going to drop the link into the chat as well. And so it's just 4 short questions for us to get a sense of who's in the room with us this afternoon. I know people are continuing to come in, so I'll go ahead and drop that link just one more time. And I'll pause for just 2 minutes to let everyone complete the introduction form. Welcome. If you've just joined us, we're just taking about 1 more minute to complete an introduction form. I'll drop the link in the chat again. It's going to give us 4 questions, give us a sense of who all is here with us during the session this afternoon. Hopefully everyone had a chance to contribute their responses to the form, and we'll go ahead and look and see who all is in the room with us this afternoon. I know that our audience is geared towards supervisors of teacher education. You could see that's a predominant role that people play, but we also have faculty members and administrators in teacher education programs. in the room with us. So it's nice to see the people play different roles, and they've joined us here today. We have a lot of folks from the University of California, but also California State University programs represented, and also some private or independent institutions. I always think that it's great to have people from different segments represented when we have the opportunity to network with others in teacher education programs. 62% of us supervise in single subject programs, and that's also where I have the most experience, is working with single subject candidates. I'm the director of our single subject program at Fresno Pacific. But today's program that I'm going to share with you is a partnership for both multiple and single subject candidates to earn their credentials. So we'll be speaking to the single subject and multiple subject audiences specifically. We do have some education specialist supervisors as well. And it looks like the majority of folks supervise in traditional student teaching programs. Only a small number work with interns or alternate certification candidates. And then 21% say they work in a teacher residency program. And I think that I find that very interesting, because we see in the field there's a huge growth in teacher residency programs, a lot of support for teacher residency programs from the state with grant funding. And so while the program characteristics that I'm going to speak about today actually are used across all of our different pathways at Fresno Pacific for student teaching, internship, and residency, I'm really going to focus in on the work we've been doing in our residency program partnership with Fresno Unified, because that's where we've had the closest collaboration with our school district partners in order to develop these competencies and provide resources for our teacher candidates. So thank you all for sharing a little bit about who you are and what you do in teacher education, and you'll be able to meet in smaller groups later on in the presentation. So I'm going to start by sharing with you the context of our Fresno Teacher Residency Program partnership. Just some information so that you can see where we're coming from in the work that we're doing. So we've completed 4 full years of our teacher residency program partnership. It is a residency program that serves both multiple subject and single subject residents. And we're starting on our 5th year of the program. Over time, we have had a growth in the number of residents who've been supported by our program. Our goal is to have a diverse resident population and to diversify the workforce in our partner school district. And so you can see our participant diversity is at 73% over those first 4 years. We have completed 71 graduates, and they are out there teaching in Fresno Unified. In fact, we got to add at the end of this last school year 28 new teachers who will start this fall. And so our numbers have been growing, and we're really pleased with the impact that this program has made on the teaching force in the school district. And we do have a 96% retention rate of our program graduates within the residency program. If you don't know much about Fresno or Fresno Unified, this slide just shows a little bit about the school district that our program serves and we partner with in order to do the residency. It's a very large school district, depending upon the year, either the 3rd or 4th largest school district in California. And it serves a population of students that has high rates of economically disadvantaged, as well as high rates of students who come from diverse backgrounds.
Robin, I think you had a question in the chat from Christian.
Yes, I see that. And can you clarify the unduplicated pupil count for the students in the school district or for in our program?
What exactly is, and I don't know what the term means, unduplicated pupil count. I've never seen that term before. I was just interested in what it meant for the students, the 61,197. What does that mean? Compared to all students.
Actually, I don't exactly know where the difference in that number comes. I'm sorry. This is the school district infographic from the website. I should have looked at it a little bit closer, but I don't know where the difference comes from. This slide shows our residency program a little bit. It shows what the residents do throughout their 3 semesters in earning their teaching credential. And I wanted to highlight, of course, that they have clinical practice, they have university coursework in their fall and spring semesters. But I wanted to highlight the role of our university supervisors in this partnership, because that last item, the 4th column for fall and spring semesters, we highlight that they are participating in observation and feedback cycles with the Fresno Unified School District residency teams, and also with their university mentors. We call our supervisors mentors in the program. So supervisors in the residency play a real critical role in both supporting the candidates, but also in communicating with our school district partners. So each of our cohort sites of residence, we work at specific schools with our residency program, and each of our cohort sites of resident get assigned a university supervisor. In our multiple subject partnership sites, it's just 1 supervisor for the group of around 6 candidates who are at the school site. Because of the different subject areas, we often have a couple supervisors at the single subject sites for the different subject areas. And our supervisors participate in the onboarding and the support of mentor teachers. And they also participate in the resident orientation and in the mentor teacher professional learning that's provided by the school district. So for example, in the past, Fresno Unified School District has used a book study around Elena Aguilar's The Art of Coaching for all of their mentor teachers, and our university supervisors sit side by side with the mentor teachers of the residents that they support, and they go through that same book study so that their coaching questions and their approach all align. We try to really get lots of touch points between all the different people who support the residents in our programs. So another practice that we have that integrates our supervisors is we have monthly meetings where all of the supervisors, the school district residency team, as well as the university faculty member who supports the residency meet, so that we can all be in collaboration and aligned with what the expectations are for the candidates and the tasks that the candidates are being asked to complete in their clinical practice. So our program is designed like that in order to try to meet this clinical practice standard focus, where the experiences that our teacher candidates get are designed to provide a developmental and sequential set of activities integrated with the program's coursework and applying theory to practice. So everything I'm going to share with you about what we do in our program and how our supervisors are such a strong support for that really is designed to elevate our performance of this standard in the residency program. And particularly the characteristics and evidence of an effective California teacher residency program from the California Teacher Residency Lab says that when we have the strongest partnerships with our school district, then coursework and professional learning opportunities for teacher candidates are very tightly integrated with clinical practice. So when we went to develop our residency specific program, then we looked at some teacher education pedagogies, trying to use this cycle where in coursework and professional learning, we use approximations of practice in order to orient students to teaching practice. And then we want to move into them enacting that practice and finding ways to support them in their classroom setting. And so to implement that, this is how we design our residency cohort courses. The foundation is really that we want the content-specific application of theory and research-based practice. So while in our courses, we are introducing them to content that helps them develop in the TPEs, we are also introducing them to the district mission and vision and the initiatives of the districts. And we're using the district adopted curriculum and resources in our courses for our approximations of practice. And then that better prepares them to enact those curriculum and resources when they are participating in their student teaching. So we do this through very specific design field-based assignments that ask them to apply concepts in readings to their site-based curriculum. They get those assignments get planned in class with instructor feedback, and then they get enacted in their student teaching with their mentor, teacher, and supervisor support. And I know this is a common practice a lot across lots of teacher education programs. In the resources, though, I did provide a sample of the field-based assignment chart that we use to communicate across all our different support providers what assignments are going to be the most critical in candidates doing each semester. So we provide this information, we discuss it with mentor teachers, and as well with our university supervisors, so that everyone can provide support and feedback to our student teachers as they're enacting these practices in the classroom. A couple features that are very specific to our residency program, but that I like us to think about how we could stretch our work and also integrate the concept of these features into the work we do, even outside of a very tight partnership like the residency, is our co-teaching model and our alignment with the district professional learning. So in the co-teaching model, each of our residency program courses actually has a district teacher leader or coach or someone from the instructional department teaching alongside with our faculty member, so that when we're discussing concepts in class, these co-teachers can provide immediate integration of these ideas with the district curriculum and resources. And they can also model teaching strategies and co-teaching strategies with the university faculty member in the class. And then our calendars align so that our residents participate in district-led professional learning that also meets the TPEs and aligns with the same topics we're talking about in our coursework. So there's a very tight collaboration between the district and the university that brings everyone together around what the students' areas of focus for their learning and their practice are in each semester of the program. And the way that we really help our supervisors and mentor teachers understand what our focus is for the students as they go through our program is through our field experience support and evaluation system. So what we've done with the TPEs is we've divided those TPEs. There's so many of them. It's so hard to evaluate candidates on them all at one time. We've divided them into 4 blocks. And these correspond with the semester first part of the semester, second part of the semester. And it helps us focus what we're going to observe for as supervisors in our lesson observations. And then at the midterm and final point of each semester, it also helps us focus on what we're going to evaluate the candidate on as we move forward. So I have in the resources provided, just if you want to take a look, the TPEs that we chose to focus on, or how we chose to divide TPE 1 across these different blocks of field experience. And so you can see that our supervisors will use the assessment worksheet depending upon where the candidate is in their program. They're going to be focusing on just a few TPEs when it comes to the assignments the candidates are doing, the professional learning they're receiving, as well as the feedback that they're getting from their supervisors in their lesson observation. And we say that the process of evaluation is not one and done, because as candidates move through time, they're assessed on all of the TPEs that have come before. So at the end of the program, they are being assessed on all of the TPEs, and they've had experience with assignments and practice on all of them. But we do this to try to establish a developmental sequence, and also to communicate with their mentor teachers, their university supervisors, kind of what are areas of focus for them in their growth and development.
Sorry to interrupt, Robin. I think Karen had a question.
Oh, great.
In the chat.
Yes. Oh, okay. So a question about the district co-teachers. They are paid by the school district because they're school district employees. And because many of them are individuals who serve as instructional coaches in the school district, then the time that they spend in class with us is just part of their regular work day. So that's a good point of clarification. And I know that idea of the co-teacher from the school district in the classroom is quite unique. And so what we often think of is, if we can't have someone there day to day, and in fact, during COVID, like everyone, we had different schedules and they had to serve a lot of different roles. So they missed lots of days of classes. But it was the fact that we work very closely with our co-teachers in planning the sessions. In fact, the planning of the sessions became more important than the actual teaching of the sessions, because as faculty members teaching those classes, that close work with our district co-teaching partner helped us really understand the context that our student teachers were in the classroom, and also the district approaches to different instructional practices, social emotional learning supports, support for families and caregivers. So it just helped us really understand better the context in the classroom. So even if our co-teacher was absent that day, we were able to provide that very context specific instruction. So another one of the resources that I provided was just the way we've divided the TPEs over time into different blocks of instruction, as well as the rubric that we use to assess candidates as they move through the program. This is all just background and context information to start thinking about how having all of the people who support our candidates, the mentor teachers, the university faculty, university supervisors, and the district leaders of the program on board with using the same tools and focusing on the same areas of expectations and practice for candidates as they move through the program. In using this rubric, we do require a score of at least 2 by the end of initial student teaching, and a score of at least 3 by the end of final student teaching. We have additional levels of performance on our rubric, because then we use those as we move our candidates into our Masters of Arts in Teaching program in their early years of teaching, or even those align with the evaluation that goes on in the Fresno Unified Induction Program. So we're really trying to create a coherent system of evaluation for our residents, because if they successfully complete our program, they are going directly into the school district as early career teachers and into the school district's induction program, where we want them to, hear the same language and receive the same types of support and evaluation. So it's a seamless transition. Okay, so that gave a little bit of background about our program, our context, how we're working to align what goes on in coursework, in professional learning from the school district, and in the work that the supervisors do in supporting all of our residency candidates. So I think this is a good time for us to just take a little break, and I'd like you to be able to have that time in collaboration with others. In our breakout room discussion, I'd like you to be able to connect, extend, and then challenge some of this information and the ideas, or just, be able to discuss the work that you're doing that you feel is related. So in Connect, the question is, how are the ideas and information presented connected to what you already knew or what you already do in our program? I love when I'm in a breakout session, I love hearing the practices of other programs. What new ideas did you get that extended or broadened your thinking in new directions? And then what challenges or puzzles have come up in your mind from the ideas and information presented? So I do have a shared document for use in our breakout rooms. And I'm hoping that you'll be able to continue to contribute to the shared document when we come back, further discuss some of the practices, and then return to our breakout rooms. So I'm going to drop the link for the shared document in the chat so that everyone has it. Oh, did that come through as an active link? Hold on, I don't think that came through as an active link. I'll copy it again. Rather long. If somebody will try that link and give me a thumbs up if they were able to access it.
You need to sign in. It requires a sign in.
Okay, hold on. I thought I made it open to everyone, but I guess I didn't. I will fix that real quickly right now. Okay, can we try the new one that just went to the chat? I apologize. Okay, I got a thumbs up that works. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so we'll see in the shared document that each breakout room has a row where you can add your contributions of how you connected with these ideas, extended your thinking, or challenge any questions that you have. That'll give us a sense of the discussion that occurred in the groups. And I can also answer, respond to any of the challenges or questions that come up for this first part of the presentation. We have 24 participants in the room, so I think maybe just 6 breakout groups, Andrew, would work. So we have 4 people in each group. Thank you.
Sounds good. I'll go ahead and open those now.
Hi, Angela. Did you see the pop-up to join your breakout room or? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you because your microphone's muted, but I'd like to, if do you want to unmute?
Oh. There we go. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And I think you should be able to just, if you
I
want
can
to
join
anyway.
any of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Have the participants been joining the breakout rooms or, okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're all in a room.
Oh, I mean, like, should I join? I don't want people to think I'm like,
It's totally up to you. I don't know. I just know that sometimes folks like to do that.
yeah, no, definitely I will. I think I might, if I can send a message to them that we'll just do 10 minutes.
Okay. And I can make sure that we're back by 1:22 if you'd like. And I'll try to send out messages as well if just updating people on how much time is left.
Okay, that would be great. Yeah, let's bring them back at 1:22 then.
Michelle, we are in breakout rooms right now, so I'm going to go ahead and assign you to a breakout room.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Hi, Ralph. We're in breakout rooms right now, working on a shared document. I just pasted a link to the shared document in the chat. And I'll go ahead and assign you to a breakout room as well.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for your discussion and your sharing in the shared document. I noticed from the comments in the document, a lot of discussions about people's experiences working with residency programs, which is great to hear and learn more about. And then also some questions about how these features could be extended into other student teaching programs and other partnership work with districts. So I think we'll save those. Hopefully we'll be able to continue those discussions and get to them when we go back into our breakout rooms in just a little bit. But I did want to extend the information that I shared to address our focus on really using this close collaboration in order to develop our residents' ideas around critical consciousness and also encourage them to become advocates for students, even in their earliest years of teaching. I think sometimes new teachers come in, they think these are things that they will, be able to do once they've been teaching for a little while, but we want them to start early on, reflecting on these issues of, race and power and privilege and inequality that are a reality in our society and in our schools, as well as their position, their viewpoints, and how that affects their actions, and then how can they take action in order to be a supporter of all of our students in schools. And so I know there's so much research in the area of developing critical consciousness and culturally sustaining pedagogies. We've heard great presentations around this. I consider myself a learner in this area, not an expert at all, but I did want to share with you just this TED Talk by Dr. Dorinda Carter-Andrews really does a nice job of summing up some of the big ideas that we can share with our candidates, as well as posing 3 questions for critical reflection that we could use with our candidates. And in our program, we do use with our candidates when we look at significant topics. How do their own social location shape their mindset about teaching and learning, the students that they're serving, and the practices that they act out? What is it that they need to know about the things they don't know related to culture, power, and difference, and where can I learn that material? Part of what we attempt to do is really give our residents access to lots of information provided by the district that they can then use to further learn and understand and shape their mindsets around these issues. And then how can I become a more critically conscious leader and instructor? So I'm going to share with you some of the topics that we explore throughout our 2-sequence student teaching support course. And these are just some examples of how that design of our program, where we integrate the coursework, the supervision, and the district-specific support, helps our candidates think more critically about topics and about their ability to advocate for their students. So if we look at a TPE like this one around establishing and maintaining clear expectations for positive classroom behavior and for student-to-student interactions, in that first segment of looking at this topic, we introduce these concepts in the texts we use. We observe the mentor teachers, and they bring their cases back to class. We watch videos, we analyze those in class, we do all those kind of normal develop background knowledge things. But then this TPE, while we're doing that in class, is also an area of focus for their supervisor coaching and feedback. And they also have a field-based assignment that leads them to do evidence-based reflection and hopefully helps them grow in their approach to setting expectations for positive classroom behavior and student interactions in the classroom. And we want them to really consider their context that they're in their student teaching and the context that they're going to be in their first year of teaching, that's district specific. So in class, we also look at the district adopted approach to setting clear expectations from Safe and Civil Schools, the CHAMPS model. And we have our co-teacher who then provides approximations of practice with guidance based on what they've seen from new teachers in the district. In addition, our residents will attend 2 professional learning events, afternoon sessions with the actual school district Department of Prevention and Intervention team members who do all the district level development for the in-service teachers. And they start working on their own district classroom management plan, completing that template that they'll use in their first years of teaching. So I know that one of the challenges is like, well, if you don't have this residency program where everything is so tightly aligned with one school district, how do you put these things into practice? It is, not as easy to do, but what we've done in our program is we've seen how this kind of exploration of what the initiatives are in the district and the use of district specific resources have integrated the residents so much more into their student teaching environment and have made them feel so much more confident about taking over and teaching lessons in their classroom that in our other pathway programs, I teach the same class for the non-residents and I might have students out in 4 different school districts. So we can't make that content as specific, but in those other pathway programs, we've learned to kind of guide students in finding this information, in reflecting on this information and applying this information. So, we give them time to go to the school district websites and explore what does it say about their classroom management approach, interview your mentor teacher about the trainings they've been provided in the past and how they're implementing them. So although, outside of a residency, it's more difficult, I think it does hopefully lend to this idea that students are going to be able to respond to those questions about what are the issues going on, what's my own position or viewpoint around those issues, and how do I become a more impactful teacher? How do I advocate for my students if they understand the context and they're working within the context? Check the chat. Oh, there's a question from Eduardo said, how is critical consciousness being defined? Is it the same as critical reflection? So I think we attempt to have the idea of critical conscious go beyond critical reflection in that it really recognizes those issues of power and privilege and how those impact the schooling in general, and also schooling within our communities. And then having students ask those critical reflection questions about how those issues then shape their own practices. So that's how we see it as being different, because it's not just reflecting on what's being seen in practice, but looking at those underlying issues around power and privilege, advantage and oppression, and how those impact the situation. So I think related to what you said about how it could lead candidates to adopt punitive measures, the text that we use and explore around classroom environment building, relationship building, hopefully that leads our candidates to not adopt punitive measures, because we look at things like discipline disparities. In fact, like we read articles about discipline disparities and then thankfully, our school district partners are open and willing to us then looking at suspension rates for students from different groups, and suspension rates for African American and Latino students higher than the white students within their own school district. So we found that our district partners are very open and willing to us critically considering even the statistics that are present in their own schools, so that students can reflect in a way that develops their critical consciousness. So I hope that somewhat addresses the question in the chat. Thank you for posing it, Eduardo, and feel free to extend or comment if you would like. In our final student teaching example, and these are just some of the examples that we address in collaboration with our school district partners. In our final student teaching example, I picked out our TPE 2.3 to look at, and this is all about maintaining physically, mentally, intellectually, and emotionally healthy and safe environments. And so we follow the same process that I discussed in the initial student teaching example, but in the second semester of their placement, the candidates have a lot of opportunity to explore resources from the school district related to restorative practices and how they implement them in the school district. And also they participate in a cultural proficiency professional learning series. We hear a presentation and look at resources from Project Access in the district, which is their support for homeless and foster youth. And then we also are able to connect with and participate in professional learning from their LGBTQ plus support team. So all of these district website reviews, resource reviews, and speakers from the different district departments help our candidates extend their understanding of the theory that we read about and discuss in our courses by giving them access to the resources that are available to them as student teachers and new teachers. And it also, we found, has given them a lot of opportunity to discuss what they learned with their mentor teachers and think about how they can connect students in their classroom to these resources that are available to students and families and caregivers in the community. So even if it's just an introduction, it really helps our residents understand that they have lots of resources out there to help them really support students, all students in what they need to be successful in their learning environment. And I thought that I would share with you just a little bit of vulnerability here around that. All of our focus, we think over the years on trying to create more consistency among the different people from the district, from the faculty, from the supervisors that support our residents, has shown to improve over time in terms of the evaluation of our clinical practice experience among the residents. So in our first year, 2019-2020, we only 45% of residents said that the consistency among all of those people and how they present the best preparation of teachers was either effective or highly effective. Few years later, with ongoing work in partnership and focus, that number is up to 75% of our candidates saying that we were effective or highly effective in working together best prepared teachers. And then in field experiences, same thing, we've increased the evaluation in the connection between coursework and field experience. And so I did want to give you just a little bit more time, although are we at the end of our time? 1:37.
Yeah, we have till 1:40.
1:40. Oh, we only have 3 minutes left. So I don't know if that's enough time for us to go back to our breakout rooms. I don't think so. So I think maybe just based on those last examples shared, if anyone would like to share a connection, extension, or a challenge with the whole group in the next few minutes, I think we could have a whole group discussion.
Yeah, I would, sorry, turned off my camera somehow. I would say the connection is, I primarily work with special ed student teachers. And so there's a huge case management component where resources are completely they're really hard to find. I'm lucky because the student teachers that I work with oftentimes have a lot of access to clinical support like therapists. And looping them in really is one of the best ways of being able to expand on those resources.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Roberto. I think that's something that, regardless of the level of partnership, if we can help our teacher candidates recognize those resources and let them know that they're out there to support them. And if the supervisors working in the school site know them well, sometimes we have to figure them out first before we could connect the candidates to them. But I think it'd be good work to do. And also it helped the candidates not feel overwhelmed and just feeling completely responsible for everything that goes on with every student and every, support that they might need, to know that those resources are available.
Completely agree.
Thank you.
I have a question regarding the mentor teachers. So have you been able to keep the same mentor teachers on board through all of the 4 years you've been doing the residency, or has that been challenging?
Well, it has been, it's always challenging to keep somebody consistently as a mentor teacher because sometimes they need breaks, but we do have very good year-to-year retention of our mentor teachers. And so although they might step out for a year and come back, we have a core group of mentor teachers, and we've been using the same school sites throughout the 4 years. So we've actually had to add school sites because our numbers have grown, but the 3 elementary sites we started with and the 2 of the secondary sites we've started with, year to year, we're at the same school sites with basically the same mentor teachers, although we add and subtract year to year. And then what's really been most wonderful is we have 6 university supervisors who work with our candidates, and the first 4 who started originally still work with those residents. And then we've added a few more. So that consistency has really helped with the collaboration and communication in the program. And we are at our time for the end of the session. Thank you so much for participating, for listening. I'm happy to stay on and answer any questions. I'd love to hear your comments. I was told to remind that there would be an evaluation that the organizers hope that everyone complete at the end of the 2 days. This is, the only image I found. All of them were marked excellent, no pressure to do so whatsoever. That's just what you find when you look up the images. And then that's my contact information. If you have any questions about residency or suggestions, you'd like to, further contact me about our program, I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to be able to hear what other people are doing as well. So thank you so much.
Hey, Robin. My name's Lisa. We met at the Exploratorium.
Oh, sorry, Lisa. I recognize you.
I really wanted to just call out that your transparency is really helpful in inviting the rest of us to be transparent, right? To show not good numbers and then to show the build. And we always want to show the good, and sometimes showing the history makes you feel like your pants, your shirt's over your head in a windstorm.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it invites us all to do the same. So I just wanted to thank you.
Well, I appreciate that, Lisa. It's good to see you again. I hope our paths cross again in the future. And, it's been very interesting because in the early years, we really questioned, like, we are putting so much work and effort into this, and why are we getting worse evaluations from students than our regular programs? But I think sometimes the intensity of those residency programs, you know, definitely contribute to that too. So thanks a lot.
Yes, stay well. I gotta go on next session, so
Yeah, definitely. Bye.
I'll reach out
Definitely.
after the weekend. Okay.
This was great, Robin. I saw you as well at the California teacher residency.
Oh, yes. Hi.
I'm with Alder. My quick question, or if you have resources to share, and kind of the challenge is like, how do we develop deep understanding of the TPEs with the mentors and with the district partners? Are there any resources or tools or trainings that you all provided to support in that deep understanding?
Well, you know, I think the way that we've done it is really just through working through the evaluation system, which is so closely integrated with the TPEs. So in my resources link, you know, I have the document where it shows how we broke them up of blocks, the rubric we use, the assessment. So we adopted that when we moved over to the new standards and TPEs. So we've been doing it for a few years, and just really centering all of our conversations around the use of those tools. And then where we're moving with that is actually our school district folks are using those same tools. In upcoming years, the mentor teachers get oriented to them, and then we're going to be looking at more examples, video examples of practice to try to bring everybody on board. So I mean, but feel free to email me. We could meet separately and talk and about that. I'd be happy to. Because I think there's another session coming in this room, and I don't want to step on their toes.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks, Natalie. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm supposed to be for 4B. Is this 4B?
4B.
Okay.
No, it is not. I'm going to start 4B in just a moment though, but I'm going to need to end this call. So sorry, those of you that just joined.
Sorry, Andrew. Thanks so much.
No,
for your help.
not at all. Not at all.
Okay,
Yeah.
How do I get it? Andrew?
I will hear the links for. Oh, need to change this to everyone. Here are the links for the next two sessions.
Thank you.
Once you've got that copied, I'm going to go ahead and end this one.
Thank you.